listening to Steve
It's
talk.
all.
It's over.
It's over?
They have an ambulance there on the scene.
The ambulance is coming out of the scene.
And they think this guy's in good enough shape that they'll be able to. We see now the ambulance actually pulling in right now. So
outstanding.
We'll follow that. That's great news, Steve.
And you wonder how, Steve, we have any idea how they.
The ambulance is coming out of the scene, and we don't know what condition he's in. Is that correct? Okay, thanks. Okay, just to recap, from the scene, according to my source, the suspect is in custody. He is alive. We don't know what condition he's in, but they called for a medic to the scene. It's still considered a hot scene right now, so they're still officially securing the scene. But that would go along with what Dan was saying with that light applause that he may have heard from his vantage point.
Well, it's been a horrifying week in Boston, in the Commonwealth. The nation, the world actually has been watching what's happening here, this chain of events, and really about the best possible outcome tonight. The second suspect wanted in the marathon bombings, now alive, captured, in custody, and about to be attended by medics there in Watertown.
Yeah, we don't know what his condition is right now, but Dan Housley, Daniel joining us with some updated info as well, or confirmation of what Steve just said.
That's right. State police give me a strong handshake when I asked if he's alive. A senior officer telling me, yes, he is alive. And it appears that they're not likely bringing him out this direction. They appear to be at ease, and so I'm suggesting they're probably going out Birch or Franklin area right now. But everybody is standing down, satisfied. A few of the officers are taking pictures to commemorate the moment of this successful end. And incredible to think when the city was and cities surrounding it were shut down because the concerns and the danger and the worries about how this would end. And it ended with a whimper, not a bang. We had some bangs earlier, and it could have easily ended with more. But these officers, whatever they did, were able to bring at least the end of this to a peaceful conclusion.
And that's fantastic, Dan. And of course, now, as you mentioned, the medic is arriving there at the boat to check.
You've been listening to the coverage of our station, WHDH in Boston. As they were talking, you saw the Watertown EMS ambulance that was parked there for so long take a right and go down to the neighborhood. You hear these multiple reports. Suspect's been apprehended. There's a visual change in mood and stance and demeanor down there. The shot we've been looking at for an hour or more. Pete Williams, and now we're hearing, listen to that. So our reports are ricocheting around, and people via broadcast or social media or television crews, people on the sidewalk in Newtown are reacting with cheers. Pete Williams?
Well, we know, we have confirmed here, Brian, as well, that the suspect is in custody. We don't know precisely his condition. Now the question is, of course, what happens now? And he is he'll be in federal custody here because this entire investigation since the bombing has been under the FBI's jurisdiction because of a federal law that says a terrorism attack is under the jurisdiction of the FBI. So they will take him now. If he's gravely wounded or if he needs medical attention, he'll be taken to a hospital where he will be given medical attention. And if you think about the scenario involving Umar Abdul Muttalib, the so-called Christmas Day bomber who came here, tried to set off a bomb on his person, similar situation. He was badly hurt. He was taken to the hospital. He was given treatment, and then the FBI proceeded to question him at length. That was a somewhat controversial thing at the time. A lot of people thought he should have been not given a Miranda warning, but it turned out that he was questioned for a time and then given his Miranda warning, and the FBI says he kept talking. And they used that as sort of a textbook example. But this will remain a controversial decision. It is the stated policy of the Obama administration to take anyone like this who creates a crime in the United States and treat them in the regular civilian justice system. So they will take him away, and when the appropriate time comes, begin to question him.
Yeah, Pete, I got an email
today
using a term of art in the law enforcement business. Somebody said to me, remember, this is a federal show.
And well, exactly, meaning the FBI is in charge. But we've already heard some members of the Senate say that this person should be declared an enemy combatant, not given a Miranda warning, and should be subject to some sort of military-style interrogation. But I can tell you that the Obama administration will never go for that. They believe that suspects who commit crimes here should be treated in the criminal justice system, and that's what they will intend to do.
Michael Leiter, who was, among other things, in the room the night of the bin Laden raid when it was planned and orders were carried out from the Situation Room, former head of counterterrorism for this country. Michael, walk us through what is likely to happen now. What's the first set of official eyeballs that will sit down across from or ride with this suspect, especially for those of us who would just simply like to know what it takes for a 19-year-old to be convinced that putting a bomb down next to little kids is a good idea?
Brian, as Pete mentioned, during the Christmas Day bomber back in 2009, we hadn't fully established a protocol and discussion about how a terrorist suspect would be interrogated. After that, we kind of worked through that problem a lot more. So there actually will have already been, pre this arrest, a very extensive discussion between the FBI and the rest of the intelligence community about how such an interrogation will occur and what the key issues are. Now, the FBI is very much in charge as the law enforcement entity for the federal government that's in charge of this investigation. But they will have already worked with organizations like the Central Intelligence Agency and the like to figure out what sorts of questions need to be asked about foreign contacts and the like. So what would happen here is they will take him into custody. There is, of course, the possibility that they will Mirandize him right away, but much more likely what they will do is use what is known as the public safety exception. And that gives them some legal authority to question him initially about things which pose an immediate threat to public safety. So they can ask him about, are there any more improvised explosive devices that you've wired anywhere? That can go through a series of questions, and that can take some time, and they can get all of that information from him before they actually Mirandize him. Now, once they ultimately Mirandize him, they will go through all of those things that they need to know, and that will be done by FBI agents, but again, supported by the rest of the national security community. And in my view, they'll want to know, again, any weapons that are out there, motivation, any other associates, are there further dangers? These are the key issues that they'll pursue, and then they'll start moving out towards motivation, more distant networks, things like that.
And Michael, already this thing is kind of like spider cracks when a rock hits the windshield. As you know, this has gone off in all directions today already. We've learned from our station, WHDH, that in New Bedford, Mass., 3 individuals have been taken into custody for questioning, 2 males, 1 female, all believed to be roommates presently or at one time with suspect 2. And, you know, this kind of thing is going to happen. They've been in this kid's computer now for a couple of hours. They've gotten all retrievable evidence from the house he shared with his brother for however long. So, let's see, Pete Williams, let's go over to you. You've got something new?
Well, yes, just that several law enforcement officials have confirmed for us now that he is alive, he is in custody. Unbelievable, as one said, who's been following this. The next question is, what sort of condition is he in? Is he gravely wounded? Is he walking? We just don't know, and we're trying to find that out now.
A big night in Watertown, Mass. I'll tell you, what a 24 hours